Welcome back to One on One with Mr. U. Of course, I'm your host, Mr. U. In studio with us, founder and CEO of the Flow Group, Michael Leung is in the house. Michael, how are you, brother? Good to see you, man.
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, man. Glad to have you in here. It's been a long time coming. Maybe you've been waiting for this one for quite a while, but you've been a busy man. But glad you're here. For those that are watching and listening for the very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, we'll be uploading this on listening platforms hopefully as soon as possible. But thank you again for making us part of your day and for watching this show with us. So, Michael, I want to talk about your story. Is really interesting for a lot of different reasons, but I want to kind of have you share a little bit. But if you don't mind, can you kind of share a little bit about your childhood?
For sure.
Came up and the impact that it had on who you are as a person today. Go ahead,
bro. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I immigrated to Canada when I was 6 with my family. Couldn't speak any English, well, very little English, but my family worked really hard to, have a better life for us in Canada. Obviously, completely different climate change from hot to cold. And first time we saw snow was like almost like seeing magic or something, right? So I remember the good times. I have ADHD to the max, but I have really good memory, like long-term memory, short-term memory. But I remember a lot of my childhood stuff. And growing up, I didn't, I remember I didn't get picked on, I didn't get bullied, in junior high. A lot of my friends were different ethnicities. They just, accepted me. I acted different, looked different, talked different. It was funny because I came from Hong Kong, so Hong Kong was under the British rule, right, back then. But when I would stand up in class when they asked, you want to, who wants to answer the question? I'll stand up because that's how I used to do it in Hong Kong. And they're like, "Why are you standing up?" And then I would tell people that I'm British, and they're like, you don't sound British. And I was like, I'm British, but I don't know why I did it back then. But I think it was also like I thought I wouldn't get picked on, but it was just something funny, right? And I don't think I ever told anyone that, but yeah, it was my best friend. He's East Indian, and we keep contact. And recently we did a documentary for me for Legacy Makers, and it's on Prime TV soon, and we brought back my old house. We went back to my old house, my old school. Went back with my friend. We just walked around. It was really cool, Then went to the cemetery to visit my mom, and so my mom has always been like my rock, Like she walked me to school till grade 6. We held my hand. She was a nurturing mom, like loving, caring, kissing. Not many Asian parents are like that. Rare breed. But she got cancer when I was 12. She had bone cancer. Yeah, she had bone cancer spread to her lungs. So then I don't smoke, So all my friends smoke before. I don't smoke, but it was hard for me because that was the most traumatic part of my life. I always talk about it because I still can't. I'm still not over it. I still have PTSD. I have PTSD from my teenage life because when she died, a part of me died. So I changed from 0 to 100. My dad didn't recognize me after because he wasn't at home, as often, and he was more, not the hugging, kissing dad, but he was, come home from work, just did his thing, and then that's it, right? But I needed a parent, at that time, and I guess my mom passed away. My dad was not really around, so I just like kind of relied on my friends, and a lot of my friends were like street guys, So I became like a street kid. Yeah, I became a street kid, and when I was 13, I ran away. I ran away many times from 13 to like 16, just because I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. It was rebellious. If I came home, my dad was, locked me in my room, and I would find my way out. But just stealing, fighting, like all that stuff. But like just from 0 to 100, I was a straight A student, and all of a sudden I had blonde hair, earrings, and like swearing. So just brought a lot of trouble, and then but yeah, and then I just started kind of I had like different periods of time where I just was good and bad, but then, you know, now I'm obviously good, you know, like for the last probably like 10 years. But it was, you know, just a lot of problems. Yeah. Addiction, bankruptcy, all that stuff, you know.
Oh, wow. So I'd love to hear, I know that there's a lot more to the story. There's a lot to get into. I'd love
For
to
sure.
just kind of hear if you could find one singular thing that you believed help you come out. That's a story I'm very familiar with. The story of childhood trauma, addiction, near-death incidences, the gang life. Maybe even drugs can be added into that as well. But what do you think is one singular thing that got you through that, where it didn't take the turn that it could have taken?
Yeah.
On your life?
Well, probably when I met my ex-girlfriend. So she's my ex-girlfriend. We're still good friends. We dated for 12 years. So when I met her, I was pretty bad. But you know, when you find a good girl, you know, she changes your life, right? People, you fall in love, and then they listen to her, and just like, you know, she was just guiding me, and she's more mature than me. She was 19. So she was 19 at the time. So I didn't know. She looked a little bit older, but I was surprised. But she just put me on the straight and narrow, and just like, I was still kind of like making trouble and stuff here and there, but it was her, because like I wanted a future, right? So it was just trusting of friends and people, and just mistake after mistake, and putting money and investments into other people that I didn't research on. So you keep losing money, and just, so now I don't gamble. Like I did stocks before, but then I don't trade stocks anymore, because I don't want to put my money in someone else's hands anymore. So everything's done by me, right? Yeah. But yeah, it's her. Yeah.
It's her. Okay. I'd love for you to kind of, she's not here to answer the question herself, but I'd love for you to do your best. What do you think she saw that made her say, you know what, this person is worth investing in? Because a lot of times the rough stuff, the rough exterior, it runs a lot of people away.
Yeah.
Why do you think she decided to invest her time into you? And even if it's from her own words, what do you think the reason was for that?
I think she was probably in love too, I guess, afterwards. We're both pretty into each other. I think she just kept forgiving me, you know, like she was very forgiving. You know, she started living with me when it was like 6 months into a relationship. So we lived together for like 11 years, and you know, I took care of her. I did, you know, everything for her. So maybe she liked the treatment, but like at the same time, she was like, yeah, the treatment, you know, like just like treat her like, you know, like a princess, you know, treat her like a queen. But like and we traveled a lot. We went to like 30 something countries together in 10 years. We flew a lot. We were just having fun. We didn't get married. We didn't have kids, so we didn't have any baggage. We just took off and left, you know, and it was a fun lifestyle. But then eventually, you know, people just, you know, the fire burns out, right? So we're still friends, but she moved to another city. Yeah. So I think she's just a forgiving person. I think she just took me as someone she just wanted to change for the better. You know, she saw the good in me, and she knew I wasn't like that bad of a, you know, guy. It's just I was going through a lot of trauma my entire life, and that's what changed me, right? But I think she just made it a mission to like bring me back.
No, I love that. I love that. That happens more often than you think. Best way to answer this question, I'll try to do it as less clunky as possible. Do you attribute your mother's passing and what you were dealing with the way that you treated her, your girlfriend?
That's a good question.
There was a connection there, because sometimes we don't know how to do it. When we have a troubled child, we don't know how to treat people on that level. How did you learn that? Was your mom's passing a part of that? How did you learn how to treat her the right way?
So I would say, of course, I'll tell you like the good things. There's obviously arguments, you know, we fight, stuff like that. But yeah, I guess my mom, you know, like my dad was a little grumpy and stuff. My mom wouldn't retaliate. She just kind of like just cried and stuff. I felt bad. But there, you know, he's just more aggressive and stuff. But then I think over time, when she's going through cancer, I just felt, you know, more and more, you know, sympathetic. Just like, you know, I just felt I want to replace, you know, take the place of my mom. You know, I just felt so bad for her, and like she's like the when I look at my mom, and I look at her, like it just, she's a woman. Obviously you gotta try to take care of them and be nice to them, and yeah, just treat your love, like your girlfriend or your wife, like how you treat your mom, right? So that's what who said that? Someone said that. Some famous guy said that. But again, yeah, don't treat her the way you treat your mother, right? So, but of course we all mess up here and there, right? But
absolutely, man. You got a lot of life experience, man. So thank you for sharing. I really appreciate the transparency. You also talked a lot about some things you were challenged with physically that you shared with me a couple of times that we did chat about that. You want to share some of what's been going on with that and how you've been coping with that?
The eye
Yes,
issue,
sir.
right? Yeah.
The retinitis pigmentosa, right?
Pigmentosa, yeah. So no cure at the moment. I'm on a waiting list. They're working on something. They're working on something that kind of brings back some of the colors and the images and stuff for people that have really severe cases, right? Mine is not as bad as some of them. Some of them are born with it, so then they just can't see anything, right? Mine is I only have my peripheral left, so I can only see tunnel vision on one side. The other's still open, so I can still drive. But it started kind of eating away into the central. It's kind of stopped at the moment. It's kind of stayed the same, but I had a really serious retinal detachment. That's how it started about like 12 years ago when I met her, or yeah, around that time. So then I woke up with a black curtain in my eye, and I didn't know what the hell it was. And then after, I just kept waiting. I'm like, oh, it'll come back. And then waited and waited, and then my chest started hurting. And my sister's like, oh, you have a stroke? Because you could have a stroke and go blind, right? So then I went to the hospital. They're like, oh, good news. You don't have a heart attack or a stroke, but you're retinal detached. I'm like, what's that? And they're like, well, it's supposed to produce the image, right? So when it detaches, now it's wavy, so everything's distorted or it's gone, right? So I went to get surgery. They're like, you need 48 hours to get surgery, or else you lose your vision completely. So then I was like, oh shoot, yeah, my sister's crying and stuff, and then I got done and I had to sleep facing down, and everything's facing down for 4 months. 3 months, but the fourth, they say 4 months, but like I just took it easy the last month because it was when it's healing, they put a bubble in your eye, right? So they eject it, so it pushes it back up. So they flatten it and they have pushes bubble, right? So if you don't like lay down, your bubble is not going to sit perfectly. So your retina is going to slide off or something, right? At the beginning. So very challenging because I sleep on my back. So everything, you have to buy an iPad. You have to get a little thing, stick your head in it, just watch TV. Like, oh, worst time of my life. I don't know how I went through that. And then I had 2 cataract surgeries done after because complications, and I got a cloudiness. So 35, 36 years old, I had cataract surgery. And that's kind of where I met the seniors. And like before I had the idea of the assistive hearing device, right? But that prepared me for it, I guess, early, I guess, just socializing with them and chatting with them. So I knew a little bit about them. And then the worst part was when I started walking, and then I would start tripping often. My ex is like, she's like, you okay? Like you keep tripping everywhere, and then I started leaping off stairs because I don't see the line, right? So I just started leaping, and then I'll walk into walls because I can't see the left, right side. People would stick their hand out. Yeah, people stick their hand out, shake my hand, and I can't see this. So they just leave their hand out for 5 minutes. They're just standing there, and then my ex is like, hey, this one try to shake her hand. I was like, oh, sorry. They're like, you're blind. I'm like, yeah, I am, right? So every year, my friends would make me a cake as a pirate with a patch in it. So try to make fun of me and stuff.
Wow.
Then, yeah, I was like, it kind of hurts, man. I was like, it kind of hurts a little bit. But there's like, and then the worst was when I would go to the clubs and go to like restaurants. It was dimmer. So then it was really bad when I was in the washroom. I couldn't find my way out of the washroom. I feel my way around the walls until someone opened the door. And then they open this light now. I'm like, oh my God. They're like, what are you doing? Like, it was almost pitch black in there for me, right? So then when I got out, they're like, where were you? I was like, in the washroom. Like, I couldn't find my way out. They're like, oh my God. So I got checked, and they're like, yeah, your peripheral is kind of like eating. It's like almost my peripheral's gone. So I can't see up, down, left, right. It's just like gone, right? So I have to like turn my head.
Right now?
Yeah, currently. Yeah.
Right now?
Right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's very uneven, right? This side's all open, this side's like all kind of closed up, but except for tunnel vision. It's 2020
Okay.
though. It's 2020, but
Okay.
it's like this much, right? So yeah, even when I go see my clients earlier, their house is dim, and I go in, I'm just like really slow walking. They're like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I can't see like very well." It's pretty bright still to them, right? And they're seniors. I'm just going to their house like
Wow.
really careful, right? So it's tough, you know. Like that's why we traveled as much as we could because I was scared that I was going to lose my vision completely and try to enjoy what I can see that's left. And that's why I got into this business because I didn't know what I was going to rely on for income or like for work, right? So yeah.
Wow, it's an incredible story, man. I want to first ask a question to follow up in regards to the, I guess the option that they're talking about for you. You said that they're working on something. Is that something you can talk about?
Yeah,
Is that worth
yeah.
discussing right now?
Oh yeah. So there's a couple of different things to help fix it, but the early one was like this: they got to inject a DNA into your eye, but these
A
shots were like,
DNA.
yeah, it's like a genetic. So it's called gene therapy. Yeah, but you have to be. It's almost like a needle in a haystack because they'll test you. And it has to be one specific DNA that matches, and then you qualify, right? And this shot was $500,000 per shot. So if you get 2 shots, you're $1 million eyes, right? So this was I don't know if you covered it, but there was people that are donors that can help you cover it because it wasn't very common. I guess it's common, but not many people can afford it. I guess so. I didn't really hear too much, and because it's such a specific DNA, right? So I think only like a couple people ever like qualified for it, right?
Wow.
And then now they have something that doesn't matter what DNA it is. They can but they laser this DNA into your eye. So it's also gene therapy, but laser it in your eye, and it's supposed to rejuvenate the photoreceptors, the dead photoreceptors in your retinal area, right? And then it comes back, it starts rejuvenating. It starts to, rejuvenating. People start seeing lights. It starts seeing shapes, right? So they did 20 people, and 20 out of 20 start seeing improvements, and they start seeing shapes and colors, right? Before they saw nothing, right? So yeah, that's kind of what's happening.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
So
waiting for
that
FDA.
they
The
have,
FDA. Yeah. FDA. They're waiting for the FDA. Yeah.
so you're kind of on a wait list with this.
I am on a wait list. I'm not even qualified for it because I had all these other things like a retinal detachment, cataract surgery. So I'm
Sure.
considered not qualified. They want someone just fresh with nothing, just retinal detachments. Oh, sorry, retinitis pigmentosa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned a couple of mental health challenges as well. The first time we talked, and even today, you mentioned ADHD and PTSD. So it's safe to say you've dealt with a lot of things, man. Can you kind of speak to after you answer this? I'm going to get into the work that you're doing with Inner Flow and True Balance and everything. But
For sure.
can you kind of speak to the people who are watching, listening today, who don't have those challenges, but they lack the drive, they lack the will to be able to live a disciplined lifestyle to accomplish the thing they want to see in life? Because you named a lot of things, man, from childhood trauma to addiction. I mentioned the near-death experiences. You didn't mention those, but the things with ADHD and PTSD, and of course the retinitis pigmentosa, and just all those things and the challenges that come with that. Why are you trying to build something incredible? Can you kind of speak to us about why you have the drive that you have? What's causing you to not give up and quit when it's so easy to do so?
Yeah. I have a couple of reasons because once you go through life with like near death, I was partying for a lot of years. I didn't really put my creativity or my full intelligence into really anything. I was just trusting of other people. I just lazied out a lot of things and took the short way out a lot of times. And that was just basically because I lived that lifestyle, right? It was just like comfortable, it's easy. And then when I finally got out of that, especially recently, since my company, I had to cut off most of my friends. I went sober.
Wow.
So, and I wasn't like a bad drunk. Yeah, thanks. And a year and a half. So since me and her broke up, I was drinking heavily and just crying every day. But My friends fished me out and told me I have a purpose, you know, especially helping people with hearing. I needed to get my you know, on track, you know. But my motivation is my mom, obviously. She's, you know, I always felt like I disappointed her for decades. Just like,
Wow.
and I cry about her all the time, even now. Like, I watch TV shows, you know, with like a sick mother, you know, someone's doing an award show thanking their mother. I would just cry, you know, like I get emotional more than before. So I see a therapist. I have you know, I gotta take ADHD pills, which I don't take very much because I don't want to rely on medication. So I try to like self,
Mm.
you know, self handle it. But my ADHD is my superpower because that's what makes me super tenacious. Like, I don't give up. I'm just like, if I want something done, I just go all in, you know, like whereas when me and my ex dated, she was more careful. So she would be the one whispering in my ear, saying, you know, don't do this. It could be a scam, or, you know. But when we broke up, I just took every risk I could, and it was
Oh, wow.
calculated. So then, like, TV shows, podcasts, and, like, you know, the Dragons Den, like all this stuff I did, and I got on, and I, you know, I did it, and then, but then it's also the reason why now I'm doing a lot of public speaking. I used to be scared to go in front of people, and I do it all the time. I go, you know, I started getting comfortable. I do self-taught marketing, sales, import exporting, like websites. Like, I learned it all myself, and because of my ADHD, when you're really
That's
laser
awesome.
focused, you'll spend hours day on night day till it's finished, right? And perfection, you know, like, but I'll do like 20 things at once, where some people have to do one thing. I'll have like one thing open, then I'll do another thing. Just so many, it's unorganized. I'm a very unorganized guy, but I get it done, you know. So um and and for me, it's like, once I have one thing, I want like more and more things. You know, I'll be like, oh, I got the podcast, I got a TV show. Now I gotta do, you know, get the next product going. I gotta get, like, you know, some photos with the models, and I just always have like a big list of stuff, you know, continuously, like, you know. So I think ADHD, if you learn how to control it, it can be your best trait, you know, like, because it really focuses you onto things. Only if you're
Okay.
interested in it. If you don't care about it, it's like, I don't care. So I have never read a book in my life. Never read a book. Like, I can't read a book because I always read the same paragraph. I can't concentrate. So I learned visually, like watching things, or audio. That's how I learned. Right? So I can't remember ever finishing more than a couple pages in a book. So um, yeah. So yeah, and the PTSD came from all the years of, like, you know, my friends, and like the fighting, the violence, you know, seeing the things I saw. You know, I've see a lot of things, see a lot of blood, a lot of, like, you know, like when you fight and stuff back then when you're young, you know, a lot of stuff happens, right? So I've seen stabbings and like probably more serious stuff than that, but like, and a lot of these are my best
Yeah.
friends, right? So a lot of my best friends, some of them are gone, they're, you know, passed away or deported, and luckily I got out on time because um, you know, it was during a period where there was a lot of violence during the city. A lot of people did pass away and die. I think it was like 20 or 30 people, but I got out on time. But they're still my friends. So I went to the funerals. It was just so many funerals, and it's just like, you feel like really like sad because there's so many of them, right? I hate going to funerals, right? But I don't cry at funerals. The only funeral I ever cried was my mom's, which is crazy. Like, for some reason I can't cry at other people's funerals. It's really weird. But then I cry at home watching TV, watching a really sad
Yeah.
video or something, right?
It is interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
But yeah, I think my mom's my motivation to continue to succeed and prove all my family wrong. Me and my family were not very close. A lot of them actually thought I was
No.
the
Sorry to
black
hear that.
sheep. Yeah, the black sheep. So I didn't really have closeness with my family. I was almost casted out, you know, because I
Mm.
was the only male in the family. My grandfather, I was the only male, so I was supposed to pass on the name. It's very important. All my cousins are
Oh.
girls, so then I was this golden child that just they thought I just, like, you know, pissed up my life away or something, right? And my
Gotcha.
grandparents never saw me to succeed, right? They saw my bad times, and I feel bad for that too. And just kind of making amends to a lot of my past mistakes, and just want to be that good person, especially now I see so much potential in myself that once I really open my mind, I could do like anything. Before I wouldn't even think I could even develop a website and do all this stuff. But once I start doing it, it's much easier than I thought, and you just start learning, right? So I think anyone that thinks they can't do something, you just have to get off your butt and just try it. But really like it, right? Don't do something you don't like, because you're gonna be miserable for the rest of your life, right? So
Yeah. Well, you definitely the picture of perseverance, brother, man. So I commend you, man, for all that you shared and all that you're doing. I want to ask you another question that that's going to be probably more of a tougher one to get to think about, but I want to ask this first because I think I mentioned the connection between what you're dealing with your current disability and the work you're doing with the groundbreaking hearing devices. Tell me how those two. What made you go into the realm of trying to create hearing devices when sight was the issue that you've been challenged with? Does that make sense?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I get that asked all the time. Yeah, I get that asked a lot. Yeah. So the reason why I did hearing was even though I'm partially blind, I want to do something with hearing, because hearing and sight is just as equally as important, right? And I saw more openings to find something for hearing, right? Because sight is just glasses and stuff, right?
Okay.
So, or I can develop a artificial eyeball or something, right? But that stuff's hard, So at first I was like looking at hearing products. There's just too many of them. But then my cousin's like, oh, bone conduction, right? So the bone conduction is open ear, right? So you wear it, it's open the ear, nothing's in the ear. I really like that concept, right? So I looked more into it. Lots of people were already doing it. But then I was like, okay, you can listen to music, you can talk on the phone, but like, what about people that can use it for like social interactions, right? That'd be kind of cool. People can like talk with it, So then no one was doing it. And I was just like looking around. My cousin, they own factories in Asia, but they don't know how to do it. So then they sourced me out to people, and we finally found someone that has the product, and it was stuck in Asia, never left Asia. So I took it, rebranded it, and took it to Canada and US, and now I'm trying to make it global, right? And no one's ever heard of it. Every time I've done anything, everyone's like, never seen this, never heard of such a thing. So because of this cool looking trendy headphone, it's become an assistive hearing device, a non-medical assistive hearing device that I'm trying to actually make it be coverable with benefits, right? I'm actually trying to go that route too. It doesn't have to be medical in order for it to be covered. There's other ways too. So, because seniors really like that, right? And because it looks trendy, it removes that stigma. It's a hearing device. So some people like the fact that, especially young people, they're like, I don't want people to know I have hearing loss. So if they wear hearing aids, it's a given, right? So now they have this cool headphone that has an amplification. Now they can use it for everything. So a lot of people are kind of like liking this idea, but I work with mostly seniors. So because it's like such a big, broad market, right? So and everybody needs, like, so many people with hearing loss, and 1.5 billion people in the world have hearing loss, and it's going to go up to 2.5. That's a quarter of people in the world that's hearing loss.
What's the number again?
2.5 billion people is going to be in 2050. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So the World Health Organization, predicts that, and usually pretty accurate. And the senior community is going to go up by 30% in the next 5 years, because the baby boomers are going to cross 65, right? So once you cross 65, you're considered senior. So because so many baby boomers, right? So they're actually going to cross over. Senior community is going to go up 30%. And of course, senior homes can be more populated. The demand of this going to be more. That's why it's a great time to get into it. And I think hearing is obviously, it's something you need for everything. Because when I work with seniors, they're just so sad. Like they're isolated, socially isolated. Their confidence has gone down. They have hearing aids, they don't wear them. They lose them. So I wanted to do something that's obviously cost effective, right? Hearing is very expensive. Something they can't lose, something easy to wear, and more people are catching on, right? And it takes time, because people in the beginning were just like, it looks too like young persons, right? But now seniors find that the hearing is improving. They kind of look past that, the look now. But more and more of them are actually liking the look now. They're like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. So it takes time, and I feel like this is gonna revolutionize the hearing industry. It could be, some say it could be hearing aids competition, but that'll probably be a while from now. But I just like the fact that people are open to another option of hearing, because they always were just told to go one way, right? The traditional way. but there is other ways, and no one knows of anything really. But now it's kind of crazy how not many people have done it. But yeah, I've done it, and I trademarked it. My supplier patented it, and I've did all the legal contracts day one. I did all the stuff that no one really
That's
does
amazing,
till
man.
later. Yeah, because I believed in it that much, I guess, back then, right? But now when you think
That's
about
amazing.
it, everything's all done. And it takes years to do too, right? To approve it. Now I'm like, okay, I'm all done and I'm all protected. So 80% of the people don't even do that, right? So that's why people are impressed with that, and just how hard I work. I drive coast to coast across Canada. I did 21 events in 9 cities in Toronto, just like events, hosting events, promoting it, testing it, educating it, and it's getting the words getting out, right? People in BC are referring people from Manitoba. Manitoba is referring, they're referring now, right? So it's nice. Yeah.
Very good, man. Very good. I love that you're being an advocate for people who have disabilities, man. That's really commendable, man. Thanks for doing that. Love the success story as well. People are not only enjoying how it looks, but they're getting results. So that's really awesome.
Yeah,
One more question, then we'll have you speak to our audience after this.
Sure.
A final question for today. Would you kind of think about how you view your life so far? Because if somebody would say, in one word, how would you describe it? How would you describe your life? I want you to answer this question instead. If you wrote a book about your life, what would the title be based on how you view your life? What would the title of your book be? Book about your life.
Probably
use as many words as you want to.
Yeah. I don't know, undeniable. Like, it's just, I've like warrior, could be, just
I love them.
I've been squashed and I keep coming back down, so you can't deny me, like I would just keep coming back swinging and coming back better.
Yeah, I love that. Undeniable is a fantastic title for your book, man. I love that. I love that you're proving your family and others wrong, man. You're doing something that matters to other people, not just for the current, but for generations. So I commend you for doing that, brother.
Thank you.
With just final couple of minutes or so before we close our show out. You're welcome, sir. Love for you to kind of just let folks know where they can find your work. I have the website up on the screen, but I'm not sure that's the only place where they can find your work. But let folks know where they can find your work. When they go to your website, what should they expect to find? So you can go ahead and share that, and then we'll go ahead and close the show out for today. Go ahead.
For sure. So this is my international website. So www.theinnerflow.com. So flow without W, or else you'll find something else. Or .ca. .ca is for Canada. So I have 2 websites, and you can find blogs. You can find testimonies live, or a video or written. There's online shopping. We have a lot of discounts going on right now. 10% off the 2.0, and the 1.0 is 30% off. So and we have True Blue, which is something you can watch TV with. Seniors don't need to blast their TV, get noise complaints. They can watch TV cinematically to their headphone and mute. You can mute the TV, just like they're sitting there watching TV, right? So it's a Bluetooth transceiver, right? So a lot of my stuff is like very senior friendly. So and of course, this works for people, young children. I work with children with autism. I've worked with dementia patients. I work with labor workers, mechanics, factory workers, police officers, everything, right? Anyone that's kind of hearing loss, they can go on the website. You can answer a questionnaire, and it'll tell you if you're a good fit or not. It'll, like 8 questions, right? So if they can't try it physically, they can answer the questions. It'll narrow it down, and they can just purchase it. Yeah, and then our Instagram is at the Flow Group, so you can see our updates. And I've been actually invited or added as a member of ICER, which is a very prestigious group in Alberta. It's called it's Institute of Continued Care of Education Research. So their innovation, and under the umbrella is obviously care providers, educators, and innovation. So I've been a part of this group with tons of resources around me now. Big senior providers. I got like educators, like universities. So now I'm this innovation that got added in. I've got voting rights and everything. So it's like kind of nice. It's like the exclamation to it.
You're doing great things, man. Thanks again for being here and sharing your incredible story with us.
Thank you.
Founder and CEO of the Flow Group. You can find Michael's work at theinnerflow.com, or for Canada, theinnerflow.ca. Michael Leung, thanks again for joining us, sir, and thanks again for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's Michael. I'm Mr. U. We're out. Have a fantastic day. Thanks again for watching and listening.